What if the best medicine for an anxious mind wasn't something you could pick up at a pharmacy? It sounds a little strange, I know, but a wave of new science is showing that being actively kind to other people might just be one of the most powerful ways to calm your own anxiety. Today, we're going to explore the surprising science of how helping others can literally change your brain for the better. Does it ever feel like we're all wound a little too tight? Between the endless pressures, the 24/7 news cycle, and the social media comparison trap, it's no wonder anxiety is one of the most common mental health struggles in the world. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, have been a lifeline for so many, and medication can be an essential tool for finding stability. But what if they're not the whole story? CBT asks you to do the hard work of untangling negative thoughts, which can be a slow and difficult process. And medication, while helpful, doesn't always touch the deep feelings of disconnection that often fuel anxiety and depression in the first place. This is where a lot of people get stuck. They're doing everything right, but they still feel trapped in their own head, with a looping soundtrack of worry and self-criticism. So, what if the secret wasn't to focus more on yourself, but to turn your attention outward? It sounds counterintuitive, but science is starting to show us that this is where the real magic is. For a long time, we've thought of kindness as a soft skill, a nice-to-have virtue. But it turns out, it's a biological and psychological powerhouse. When you do something kind, you're not just making someone else's day, you're setting off a cascade of positive changes in your own brain. Researchers call it the helper's high. A study from Emory University found that when you're kind to someone, the reward centers in your brain light up just as much as if you were the one receiving the kindness. This isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a measurable neurological event. Think of it as your brain mixing a feel-good cocktail. First, you get a hit of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of satisfaction that makes you feel good when you accomplish something. Then comes serotonin, the same chemical many antidepressants work to increase, which helps you feel calm and happy. But it doesn't stop there. Acts of kindness also release endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. This might be why people who volunteer regularly often report fewer aches and pains. In a very real sense, they're medicating themselves with service. So when you choose to help someone, you're essentially giving yourself a natural dose of anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and pain-relieving chemicals all at once. Okay, this all sounds great, but is it really as effective as something like therapy? This is where researchers at The Ohio State University, led by Dr. Jennifer Chevins, got really curious. They designed a fascinating study with 122 people who were all dealing with moderate to severe depression, anxiety, and stress. They split them into 3 groups for a 5-week experiment. The first group was taught a core technique from cognitive behavioral therapy called cognitive reappraisal. The second group was told to plan social activities based on the idea that just getting out and being around people might help. And the third group was given a totally different task: perform 3 acts of kindness a day for 2 days a week. After 10 weeks, the results were stunning. Everyone felt better. All 3 groups reported less depression and anxiety. But the kindness group was different in a few critical ways. First, they were the only group that reported feeling more socially connected to others. Let that sink in. Planning social events didn't move the needle on connection, but actively doing kind things did. Second, the kindness group actually saw greater reductions in their depression and anxiety symptoms than the cognitive reappraisal group. The researchers figured out why. Doing kind things for others directly reduced what they called self-absorption. It forced people to get out of their own heads, which in turn eased their symptoms. This goes against the common idea that we should shield people with depression from extra burdens. This study suggests that asking them to help others might be one of the best ways to help them heal. If you're finding this as fascinating as I am, do me a favor and hit that like button. And I really want to know, have you ever felt that helper's high? Tell me in the comments about a time you did something kind and it made your whole day better. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what we dive into next. So we know that kindness works. But how does buying a coffee for someone actually translate into less anxiety? It's a powerful combination of a psychological shift, a physiological response, and a social boost. First, the psychological shift. As the Ohio State study showed, anxiety traps you in a cycle of negative self-focus. Kindness is the circuit breaker. When you decide to focus on someone else, you're deliberately changing the channel in your brain. You can't be spiraling about your own worries and be fully present in giving someone a genuine compliment. Next is the physiological response, and this is where kindness really starts to look like medicine. The hero here is a hormone called oxytocin, often nicknamed the love hormone. It's released during acts of connection, and it has powerful anti-stress effects. Oxytocin helps lower cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. But its most incredible trick is what it does for your heart. When oxytocin is released, it also triggers the release of nitric oxide, which expands your blood vessels and directly lowers your blood pressure. This is why oxytocin is called cardioprotective. It literally protects your heart from stress. Finally, there's social connection, which might be the most important piece of all. The U.S. Surgeon General has called loneliness a public health epidemic, stating its health risks can be as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Chronic loneliness is linked to a significantly increased risk of premature death. When you perform an act of kindness, you're weaving a thread of connection to another person. You're building your social fabric, which is the ultimate buffer against stress. Strong social bonds are linked to a healthier immune system and a longer life. Kindness is the most direct route to building those life-sustaining bonds, telling your nervous system on a primal level, you are not alone. So let's make this practical. Let's write your first kindness prescription. The goal here isn't big, heroic gestures. It's about building a consistent habit of looking for small opportunities to do good. Here's a 7-day kindness challenge to get you started. Just try one small thing each day and pay attention to how it makes you feel. Day 1. Digital kindness. So much of our online life is stressful. Let's flip that. Leave a genuinely thoughtful, positive comment on a post or video. Instead of just scrolling, take 30 seconds to write, "This was so insightful. Thank you for making it." Or, "You look so happy here. It made me smile." Day 2. Community kindness. Take care of a shared space. On your walk, pick up one piece of trash. Just one. Or pull your neighbor's empty garbage can back up to their house. It's a tiny act of service that builds a connection to where you live. Day 3. Workplace kindness. Be the person who brings a little positivity to the office. Send a quick email to a colleague and maybe CC their boss, praising them for something specific. Just wanted to say, Jane's help on that project was a lifesaver. Her insights made everything go so much smoother. It can make someone's entire week. Day 4. Connection kindness. Think of one person you miss. Send them a simple text. "Hey, was just thinking about you and that time we insert a fun memory. Hope you're doing great." No pressure, just a small signal to someone that they're remembered and valued. Day 5. Stranger kindness. This one can feel weird, but it's powerful. Make genuine eye contact with a cashier or barista and thank them. "I really appreciate how cheerful you are, thank you." Hold a door for someone with a warm smile. These micro interactions remind us we're all in this together. Day 6. Anonymous kindness. Do something good without any chance of getting credit. Pay for the coffee for the person behind you. Leave a great book you just finished on a park bench with a note that says, "Free to a good home." This is kindness in its purest form. Day 7 is self-kindness. This might be the most important one. Kindness isn't just for others, it's for you too. We are our own worst critics. Today, catch that negative voice in your head and talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a good friend. Instead of, "I can't believe I messed that up," try, "That didn't go as I'd hoped, but I learned something valuable." Extend yourself the same grace you've been giving others all week. We started with the idea that a doctor could prescribe kindness. And as we've seen, that's not just a nice thought. It's an evidence-based strategy for a healthier mind and body. We live in a world that tells us to focus on ourselves, our goals, our problems, our image. But the science is telling a different story. The path to our own well-being often runs through other people. Kindness is more than being nice. It's a way to actively fight the self-focus that fuels anxiety. It triggers a cocktail of feel-good chemicals in your brain that calm you down and lift your mood. And it builds social connection, which is one of the single greatest predictors of a long, healthy life. The next time you feel that knot of anxiety tightening, that feeling of being stuck inside your own head, try something different. Instead of turning inward to fight it, look outward for one small way to help someone else. Buy the coffee, send the text, give the compliment. It might just be the most powerful prescription you ever fill. Thank you for spending this time with me. I challenge you to try just one thing from that prescription list this week. When you do, come back and share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how it felt. And if this video meant something to you, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Take care and be kind.